Among the great thinkers of ancient China, Xunzi stands out as a philosopher who understood the struggle of self-discipline with remarkable realism. Living in the late Warring States period, he observed that human nature naturally drifts toward ease, desire, and distraction. Yet he did not see this as a cause for despair. Instead, he argued that because our nature is unshaped, our greatest strength lies in our ability to shape ourselves. For Xunzi, discipline is not an innate talent but a deliberate craft, something built through habits, rituals, and clear intention. He believed that a person becomes orderly by practicing order, becomes focused by training the mind, and becomes virtuous by repeatedly choosing what is right. In his view, transformation is always possible, but never accidental. Modern life, full of stimulation and endless choices, makes Xunzi's message surprisingly timely. We scroll, react, consume, and wander, often pulled by impulses we barely notice. Xunzi reminds us that discipline does not begin with force, it begins with understanding our nature and guiding it with structure. This video explores how Xunzi's insights can become practical tools today, helping us build routines, strengthen focus, tame emotion, and craft a life shaped not by impulse, but by intention. Part 1: Guiding Desire with Principles. Xunzi once wrote, "Desires are never exhausted. If not guided by principle, they lead to chaos." In essence, he recognized what we all feel today: left unchecked, our impulses pull us in every direction. Pleasure, convenience, recognition, and distraction are everywhere, and they do not wait for us to be ready. For Xunzi, the solution was not to suppress desire but to channel it through clear principles, giving our actions a steady direction. In modern terms, this is about creating a personal framework that tells you, even when motivation fades, how to act. Western life in particular is a constant test of this principle. We live in a culture of endless choice, streaming services, online shopping, social media, late-night takeout, endless notifications. It's easy to drift from one impulse to another. Without guiding principles, your day dissolves into reacting rather than acting, and your long-term goals are pushed aside by short-term gratification. One evening of scrolling may lead to a week of procrastination. One impulsive purchase can destabilize your budget. The chaos Xunzi warned about looks very familiar in the 21st century. To channel desire effectively, begin with boundaries. Decide in advance what behaviors support your goals and which ones undermine them. For instance, if your aim is focus and productivity, try designating specific work hours and committing to avoid distractions during that time. Place your phone in another room, silence notifications, or use apps that temporarily block distracting websites. By establishing these rules, you remove the need to rely solely on willpower, which is fragile and easily depleted. Similarly, financial principles act as guides in an age of consumerism. Rather than attempting to resist every impulse purchase with sheer self-control, set rules for spending: no unplanned purchases without a 24-hour waiting period, a monthly budget for discretionary spending, and a clear understanding of what purchases align with your long-term values. Xunzi's insight is that external structure strengthens internal self-control. Principles also help manage health and wellness. Many people want to exercise, eat better, or sleep more, yet they rely on motivation alone. A principle-centered approach might be, I will complete a 20-minute workout every morning, no exceptions, or I will go to bed by 11 p.m. every night. Once these rules are established, desire no longer dominates, they operate as default behaviors, reducing the mental friction of decision-making. Over time, these structured actions become habitual, freeing mental energy for higher-level thinking and creative work. Even emotional life benefits from principle-based guidance. Social media, emails, and news cycles can trigger anger, envy, or anxiety. Instead of reacting impulsively, set a principle: I will pause and breathe before responding to upsetting messages, or I will limit news consumption to 30 minutes per day. Small rules like these build consistency and stability, helping emotion support rather than undermine your goals. Xunzi's lesson for modern life is clear: don't wait for willpower to save you, design your environment, habits, and decisions around guiding principles. Desire is inevitable, but chaos is optional. By creating clear structures for behavior, at work, with money, in health, and in emotional life, you harness impulses rather than being controlled by them. Over time, living according to principles transforms scattered energy into sustained focus, short-term temptation into long-term gain, and reactive life into intentional living. Part 2: Effort is the path, discipline as daily practice. Xunzi emphasized that human potential is shaped through consistent effort, not innate ability. While he phrased it in terms of cultivating virtue, the principle is simple and timeless: repeated practice creates lasting results. In modern life, we often forget this. We want to achieve mastery overnight, adopt every productivity hack, or overhaul our routines in a single week. The result is usually burnout, frustration, and abandoned goals. Xunzi's insight reminds us that discipline is a process, not an event. It is a steady investment, built day by day, habit by habit. Western society, with its constant demand for performance and immediacy, makes this lesson crucial. We are inundated with messages to be faster, better, and more productive. Apps promise to fix your focus in a week, online courses suggest you can learn a skill in 30 days, and social media amplifies the illusion that success is instant. Without embracing incremental effort, we become impatient, discouraged, and prone to quit. Xunzi's guidance is refreshingly simple: show up every day, no matter how small the action. Practical application begins with identifying the key habits that matter most and committing to them consistently. For example, instead of attempting to overhaul your fitness overnight, start with a 10-minute workout every morning. On days when energy is low, doing even half of it maintains continuity. Over time, the habit grows stronger, and consistency compounds into real physical and mental transformation. Similarly, for professional growth, commit to writing 200 words daily or spending 15 minutes reviewing core skills. The cumulative effect of small, deliberate actions far outweighs sporadic bursts of effort. This principle extends to personal development and learning as well. Instead of binge-watching self-help videos or reading entire books in one sitting, integrate microlearning into your routine. Read a few pages each day, practice a new skill for 10 minutes, or journal reflections consistently. The repetition solidifies knowledge, builds confidence, and reinforces discipline. Xunzi teaches that these incremental steps, though seemingly insignificant, shape character over time. Even emotional resilience follows the same logic. Rather than expecting calmness to arrive spontaneously, practice daily moments of reflection or meditation. A 5-minute breathing exercise each morning or a short mindfulness break during lunch trains the mind to respond to stress deliberately. In modern Western culture, where anxiety and overstimulation are common, these small, consistent efforts create stability. Emotional discipline, like physical or intellectual skill, improves through persistent practice. Another practical approach is leveraging habit stacking and environmental cues. Pair a new habit with an established routine: drink a glass of water immediately after brushing your teeth, or do a short stretch when making coffee. Use your surroundings to prompt positive action: place workout clothes where you see them first thing in the morning, or leave your journal on your bedside table. Xunzi's insight was that structure and repetition reinforce one another. Modern science confirms that small triggers combined with consistent effort lead to lasting behavior change. Ultimately, the lesson is clear: discipline is earned, not given. It is cultivated through repeated, intentional action, not fleeting motivation. Modern Western life may tempt you toward shortcuts and instant gratification, but real transformation comes from showing up each day, even when it feels small or insufficient. The compounding effect of these daily efforts builds not only competence but resilience, focus, and integrity. Just as Xunzi observed, the field becomes fertile only through constant tending, and the disciplined life is grown one deliberate action at a time. Part 3. Ritual shapes the mind, building structure into everyday life. Xunzi argued that ritual, or li, organizes behavior and stabilizes the mind. For him, rituals were not mere formalities or empty traditions, they were tools for shaping consistent action and steady character. In practical terms, ritual is the framework that guides behavior, turning intention into reality. Without structure, our impulses and distractions dominate, and self-discipline becomes fragile. In the modern Western world, this principle is more relevant than ever. Life is full of options, interruptions, and constant digital stimulation. Smartphones, streaming platforms, social media feeds, and notifications compete for attention at every turn. For many people, the day begins with a rush and ends in exhaustion, without any meaningful accomplishments. The result is mental fatigue, stress, and a sense of drifting through life. Xunzi's insight suggests a simple solution: structure your day intentionally so that your mind follows predictable, productive patterns. Ritual in daily life does not need to be complicated. Simple, repeated actions create stability. For instance, a morning routine can anchor your day: drink a glass of water, stretch for 5 minutes, review your main priorities, and begin focused work. These steps prime your body and mind, reducing decision fatigue and helping you act with purpose rather than reaction. Even small adjustments, like setting aside a specific place for work or study, signal your brain that certain times and spaces are reserved for specific activities. The environment becomes part of the ritual, reinforcing discipline automatically. Weekly or monthly routines further strengthen this effect. Scheduling specific times for planning, review, and reflection helps maintain focus and prevents chaos from accumulating. For example, dedicating Sunday evening to review accomplishments and set priorities for the week transforms an abstract goal into actionable steps. Similarly, rituals for meals, exercise, and relaxation create predictable rhythms that reduce stress and allow discipline to flourish. Ritual also extends to emotional life. In a culture dominated by rapid news cycles and constant connectivity, people are easily pulled into emotional extremes: anger, anxiety, or distraction. Incorporating simple rituals, like a 5-minute breathing exercise before responding to messages or journaling briefly before bed, helps regulate emotions. These actions stabilize the mind, prevent impulsive reactions, and ensure that decisions are guided by principle rather than temporary feeling. The power of ritual lies in its automaticity. By repeating structured behaviors, you reduce reliance on raw willpower, which is easily depleted. In modern life, we often overestimate our ability to resist temptation or maintain focus through sheer effort. Xunzi reminds us that we do not have to rely solely on willpower. Structure can do much of the work for us. The repeated actions, embedded in daily life, gradually shape character and reinforce discipline naturally. Even leisure and creativity benefit from ritual. Setting aside fixed periods for reading, writing, or creative projects ensures that passions are not crowded out by distractions. Over time, these small, consistent practices compound, producing meaningful growth in both skill and mindset. Ritual transforms ordinary, scattered activity into deliberate, aligned behavior. In essence, Xunzi teaches that discipline is not just a matter of effort, it is a matter of environment, habit, and structure. In a Western context, where life is flexible but often chaotic, building daily and weekly rituals allows discipline to operate effortlessly. By stabilizing the mind and directing energy toward what matters, ritual turns intention into action and chaos into order. The disciplined life, in Xunzi's view, begins with predictable patterns, consistent habits, and the quiet power of structure. Part 4. clarity before action, understanding strengthens discipline. Xunzi observed, "The mind that understands is like a compass. Without understanding, actions have no direction." In other words, self-discipline is not simply about effort or willpower, it is about knowing why we act, what we are aiming for, and how our actions align with long-term goals. Discipline without clarity is like running on a treadmill, constant movement, but no forward progress. Understanding provides the internal compass that guides effort in meaningful directions. In modern Western life, this principle is critically important. We are constantly bombarded with information, choices, and competing priorities. Social media, career pressures, endless notifications, and a culture of multitasking can make it feel as though we are always doing something, yet achieving little. Many people struggle not because they lack effort, but because their actions are diffuse and unfocused. Without clarity, even the most disciplined intentions are scattered across tasks that may not truly matter. Applying Xunzi's insight begins with defining your values and goals. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to become? What habits and routines reflect that vision? Which actions move me toward it, and which distract me? By answering these questions, you establish a framework for decision-making that filters impulses and organizes energy. For instance, instead of attempting to be healthier, in general terms, you define actionable principles: I will walk 10,000 steps daily, or I will eat vegetables with every meal. Clarity turns abstract aspirations into specific, manageable actions. Modern productivity strategies echo Xunzi's wisdom. Time blocking, priority lists, and focus on high-leverage tasks are contemporary ways to operationalize understanding before action. A professional might set 3 non-negotiable goals each week, ensuring that every task contributes meaningfully to their larger objectives. Similarly, students can map their study schedules around exam priorities and learning outcomes, rather than reacting to the next distraction or instant gratification. Clarity ensures that energy is invested purposefully, not scattered aimlessly. Clarity also improves emotional and cognitive discipline. When you know why a task is important, motivation becomes more resilient. Facing challenges or setbacks becomes easier because decisions are guided by principle rather than emotion. For example, if your goal is financial stability, you can resist impulsive spending not through sheer willpower but because you understand the long-term impact of each choice. When your compass is clear, you can navigate obstacles with confidence. Another practical application lies in reflection and review. Taking a few minutes at the end of each day or week to assess whether actions aligned with your priorities cultivates self-awareness and reinforces clarity. Western productivity frameworks often call this a review session or weekly planning ritual. Xunzi would see it as a method of internal calibration, checking your compass and adjusting your course when necessary. Finally, clarity encourages intentional simplification. Modern life tempts us to multitask endlessly, to chase every opportunity, and to react to every message or notification. Xunzi's principle reminds us that focus on what truly matters is far more powerful than scattered effort. By filtering out distractions and committing to a few clear priorities, we convert discipline from struggle into a natural, guided flow of action. In essence, clarity transforms discipline from blind effort into purposeful, sustainable action. It ensures that your energy, habits, and decisions consistently serve your long-term goals. In the fast-paced, distraction-filled world of today, Xunzi's advice is simple yet profound: know your direction before moving, and your discipline will carry you far. Part 5: Emotional Regulation, Discipline over the Heart. Xunzi taught, when emotions rise without moderation, they cloud judgment. When they are harmonized, the mind becomes clear. In his philosophy, self-discipline is not only about controlling actions or desires, it is also about managing the emotional currents within. Anger, anxiety, excitement, or envy are natural, but left unchecked, they undermine even the best intentions. Without emotional regulation, effort becomes inconsistent, focus wavers, and principles are easily abandoned. In today's Western world, the challenge Xunzi described is magnified. Our lives are filled with constant stimuli, social media notifications, breaking news, competitive workplaces, and pressure to perform at every level. Emotional reactions often hijack our behavior before reason or intention can guide us. A stressful email can trigger frustration, leading to impulsive responses. Anxiety about finances or productivity can derail an entire day's plan. Modern life makes emotional discipline not just desirable, it is essential for sustainable self-control. Xunzi's insight suggests that emotion is not to be suppressed but guided and channeled. One practical application is pausing before action. For instance, when feeling anger or irritation, take a brief moment to breathe and observe the emotion. This simple pause creates a gap between feeling and reaction, allowing choice to govern behavior rather than impulse. Over time, these small pauses become automatic, cultivating steadiness even in stressful situations. Daily practices that stabilize the mind reinforce emotional discipline. Short mindfulness sessions, journaling, or deep breathing exercises help train attention and reduce reactivity. For example, reflecting for 5 minutes each evening on what triggered strong emotions that day can reveal patterns and inform proactive adjustments. By recognizing emotional triggers, individuals can anticipate and mitigate disruptions before they escalate, aligning responses with long-term goals rather than short-term impulses. Environmental design also supports emotional regulation. Modern Western life often exposes us to overstimulation, constant screens, notifications, and background noise. Simple changes, silencing unnecessary alerts, creating dedicated work or relaxation spaces, or limiting exposure to emotionally charged content, reduce emotional volatility. Xunzi would consider this a practical application of structure, shaping the surroundings to support calm, measured behavior rather than leaving the mind to fend for itself. Even in interpersonal contexts, emotional discipline is key. Reacting impulsively in conversations or conflicts often damages relationships or undermines professional credibility. Following Xunzi's principle, one can implement deliberate strategies, listen fully before responding, take a brief mental pause, and respond according to values and principles rather than initial emotion. This approach builds consistency, strengthens trust, and reinforces the internal habit of measured response. Ultimately, emotional regulation turns the heart into an ally rather than a saboteur. Xunzi teaches that steady emotions provide the foundation for sustainable self-discipline. Without it, even strong principles, clear goals, and deliberate effort are vulnerable to collapse. In modern Western life, cultivating calm, deliberate emotional habits allows individuals to navigate complexity, stress, and temptation effectively. In essence, Xunzi's advice is clear: discipline is not only an external practice of rules and effort, it is an inner mastery of the self. By regulating emotions, modern individuals can ensure that their actions remain consistent, their focus stays aligned with purpose, and their principles guide them even in challenging circumstances. Emotional discipline transforms fleeting willpower into lasting capability, completing the foundation for a fully intentional life. Conclusion: crafting a life of intentional discipline. Xunzi's teachings offer a timeless roadmap. Self-discipline is not a natural gift or fleeting inspiration, but a skill cultivated through conscious practice. He showed that desire, effort, structure, understanding, and emotion all interact to shape the person we become. Discipline is not merely about resisting impulses, it is about aligning every part of our life with intention. In modern Western life, this wisdom is more relevant than ever. We face constant distractions, infinite choices, and pressures that test our focus and resolve. Motivation alone is insufficient. Without guiding principles, our desires dominate. Without steady effort, habits falter. Without ritual, routines crumble. Without clarity, actions scatter. Without emotional regulation, intentions are sabotaged. Xunzi's approach integrates all these elements, transforming scattered effort into sustained progress. The path he outlines is practical: define your principles, invest in consistent daily effort, build structured routines, cultivate clarity of purpose, and manage emotions with awareness and intention. By applying these insights, discipline becomes less a struggle of willpower and more a natural outcome of the systems, habits, and mindset we cultivate. Perhaps the most profound lesson is that self-discipline is not about perfection, it is about direction. Each small, intentional choice compounds over time, shaping character, habits, and ultimately life itself. Xunzi reminds us that the power to change is within our grasp. Through effort, structure, and clarity, we can steer our impulses, stabilize our emotions, and craft the life we truly want. To practice discipline in Xunzi's sense is to practice becoming the person you intend to be, turning potential into action, and transforming scattered moments into a life of purpose. In a world of constant distraction, this ancient wisdom offers a clear, practical, and profoundly empowering guide.